What's going on YouTube? Welcome to part 2 of the Jeep and Bass rebuild. In this video we'll be working on stripping down the Jeep to give us a clean slate for a new build. The first thing to get out of the way, of course, was cleaning up the mess of wiring, starting with cutting and saving the usable scraps of 8-gauge speaker wires that I had ran through the back of the wall, as you can see here. Next thing I did was sort out all the old speaker wires, RCA wires, power wires, remote cables, just to clear everything out of the back of the Jeep. I didn't want any of these things in the way as I did the demolition of the speaker enclosure. Next thing was to pull all this wiring out of the vehicle. In the next few videos I'll be showing you how all the wiring was ran past the wall while maintaining a good seal for air leaks between the front and rear of the vehicle. Now we get our last look at the enclosure. It's a near 1-to-1 ratio 6-order band pass for 612s, tuned to 24 Hz in the rear and 48 Hz in the front. It managed to do a 157.4 dB at 26 Hz sealed on the windshield, and a 162.3 dB outlaw kick score at 37 Hz, clamping around 13,000 watts. Next thing to do is remove the bracing and the rear ports. With all the vehicle's interior removed, we can see a lot of the damage the old build inflicted on the vehicle. Just looking at the sound deadener, you can see entire chunks are missing. We'll also be getting new doors put on because these are just basically trashed by now. Now to start the demolition of the old enclosure. I started by removing as many of the screws as I had access to, and then I proceeded to pry off the old 2x4s. These ended up splintering a lot, and I decided that the best way was to get a sawzall with a long blade that could get through all the layers of wood in one cut. Alright guys, we've started. Got a piece knocked out of the back. You can see how relatively small this thing is. This is my cordless drill. It's not a super huge wall. And you can see where I extended it before. So this portion was actually my old flat wall, and I added onto it for the 6-order. You can see exactly what happened there on both sides. So we're just going to chip away at it, get the back off today, maybe the baffle out, see how far we get. The next section was a little bit more difficult since I had to cut through the baffle as well as the rear of the wall. I kept running into screws and killing saw blades, but I eventually was able to get it out. You can see here how tight I was able to make all my glue joints. This is a key part in building strong enclosures. So now with the rear of the enclosure removed, I can start removing the baffle. I just made several cuts until I had the majority of it free. Then of course took the sledge to get the rest out in big chunks. Between the sledge and a few pry bars, I went to work beating out bits at a time. It was probably one of the best workouts I've had in a while. I felt it pretty well the next day and several days after that, but it was just kind of part of getting it out. Alright guys, so here's a quick update. A little bit worn out right now. Been beating at this thing. This is about 3.5 hours of work. And we are a good chunk of the way into this thing. So I think tomorrow's goal is to beat off the front pieces and start making relief cuts. So I can pull the sides down and then basically figure out how to get the roof off, because it is stuck up there a little bit with like spray foam. So that's sometimes a chore. But once that's down, then all that's left is the floor and then just really cleaning out the vehicle. So we made really quick progress, and it's coming along. Getting exciting. It's a lot of work, but there it is. It wasn't a very big enclosure. It's about 26 cubic feet. So hopefully now we'll buy ourselves a little bit more room and be able to do something different. So there it is. There's the front all taken out so far. I'm just trying to get these wings off, so that'll be some work, but we'll get there. So there it is, guys. Sitting pretty tall now. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys how this attaches. So this is the front of the enclosure, or in some cases maybe the baffle. It was where my old baffle was for the 218s build. But essentially it just attached down to our frame, and this here is the face of that frame. And I used to call these the picture frame. So basically they're 2x6s that go up each side, across the bottom, and across the top behind these. And then you build your framing out backward from there, and then you can slap your baffle onto the front of these. So they provide a lot of surface to mount the baffle on, and it's a really strong and sealed in setup. You can see how I have it sealed in with these pieces of sheet metal. They basically wrap around the back side, and so no air will ever come through. So as you can see, this baffle will pull away now, and those are all my attachments to that 2x6. And if you guys are interested in this style of a framework, which is very effective, I used it on several builds. It perfectly seals the front to rear and sets you up for a really strong enclosure. Go ahead and watch some of my older series of videos from about 2016-ish. I think I might have been right around where I started building this, or end of 2015. But I have a series, and I did it in several Jeeps. I think there's 3 series of videos that I did it similar with this frame structure. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. It's a really strong way to build these. Downside is it does take up a lot of room, a lot of usable room that this time I will need. So this time I'll be building the enclosure a lot different, but this is definitely a foolproof way to build a very strong and very sealed in wall. But let's go on from there. We got basically front off. Now I have basically a 4-sided square that I have to start taking down. And I think I'm going to pretty much just start from the sides and work my way down. So wish me luck there. So next thing was cutting out these sides. So in the next video we'll be finishing that part up, going to the roof, going to the floor, getting all those sections out, and then talking about what I'm planning to do to the vehicle in order to do some maintenance and prepare for the next install as we get there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I would appreciate if you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below some of your ideas, suggestions, or just anything you want to ask. So there it is. Stay tuned. We'll be getting back to this thing shortly.